Ready. Play.
Match points. 4 gold medal points for Novak Djokovic. Wow. We thought it was possible, but we had doubts after the surgery, after he lost in Tokyo. Is this Novak Djokovic's moment? Carlos Alcaraz serves. Backhand from Djokovic in play. Scooped up backhand from Alcaraz. Djokovic goes for the attack at the forehand. It's a winner! Novak Djokovic has just completed tennis. He is an Olympic gold medalist. He roars. The raw emotion comes out. It is unbelievable for him right now. Novak Djokovic is the Olympic champion. Carlos Alcaraz congratulates him on what was an epic match. Even though it was 2 tiebreaks, it didn't go 3, but this will still be a memorable match from this year. And Djokovic is down the ground, facing the clay. He cannot believe it. He has done it. This is the moment that he's wanted for so long, that he's missed out on time and time again. He finally gets to an Olympic final. He gets to the young pretender, and he pushes through and he gets it. Djokovic is in tears right now. He's like, the cry. It's all coming out now. So many tears of joy from the aging Serb, the patriot at heart. He cannot believe what he's just done, but he's done it. He is an Olympic champion. He has won every Grand Slam. He has won every Masters 1000. He has won the Tour Finals and a record amount of times. He's won the Davis Cup. And this is it. He is an Olympic champion as well. Completes the career Golden Slam along with Andre Agassi and Rafael Nadal. This is a moment in tennis history. Carlos Alcaraz was here to spoil, and he couldn't quite do it. Djokovic is holding up a giant Serbian flag. Yeah, Alcaraz looking fairly despondent. John, let me know when you can speak.
I can speak now. I'm just trying to plug in my earphones, but
okay.
Yeah, I mean, what is there left to say about Novak Djokovic? I mean, I think he's just completed every single box that's been needed to be ticked really today. I mean, obviously there's the Jimmy Connors record still to come, I guess, but that's probably a matter of time. And bearing in mind the year he has had, I mean, basically he's just transformed what was obviously a pretty disappointing year thus far into another amazing year for Novak Djokovic. This will be the year that he, completed the ambition for him to seal the gold medal that has obviously eluded him throughout his 20-year career and until today. And like I say, he could basically take the rest of the year off and it would still be, he could lose every match for the rest of the year and this would still be a successful year for Novak.
I was going to say, I don't think now it matters whether he wins the US Open or not. I think he's got this was the target. He's got the job done. Yeah. I think maybe he wants to get to 25 and move like right number, but yeah, he's done it. He is this is the moment that he's been waiting for. And I said that after Tokyo in 2021, after he lost to Zverev, we didn't know whether he'd still be fit enough to play in Paris. The young guys were coming through. Nadal might have still been around.
Yeah.
We thought that was his last chance.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly could have been. I mean, that's the thing with the Olympics obviously being every 4 years, although in this case, of course, 3 years late with the pandemic interrupting the last one. But let's talk about the performance today. I mean, you obviously saw the match pretty much from start to finish. I missed that period in the first set when Alcaraz had those break points come and go. How did that feel, Nick, at the time during that sort of fall? I think it was more or less in the first set when those 5 break points came and went for Carlos.
Interesting, because I did feel like that was due to a lull in level from Novak that was happening, and that he might that maybe if he might get broken in the end. He was kind of still fending off what felt like the inevitable. But then when he was breakpoint down, he played incredibly, and
Okay.
that was what happened. Like he was serving unreturnables or setting himself up perfectly for points.
Fair enough.
To get the job done. And actually, I think someone said in the chat during that game, the returner usually wins these long games. And I said, but if you serve it out, suddenly you're the one with the momentum and the advantage. And that's more or less what happened.
Definitely, yeah.
That first set out.
Yeah, and going into the tiebreak, having had those breakpoint holds. I mean, obviously, Carlos had to hold a few in that set, but they were sort of evenly spread out across the set. I think it was 5 in total for Carlos to save and Novak 8. And then also looking at that last set tiebreak, I heard the German commentator say to me, because I was dipping, your commentary was a few seconds ahead, so I dipped over to the German commentary for that tiebreak, and they said, I'm pretty sure it probably finished this way, 33 unforced errors off the racket of Carlos, and there were 2 or 3 in that last tiebreak. Some of them were slightly short balls that he was attacking, and they were flying into the net, but we mustn't forget that Novak sealed the goal with a goal with a forehand winner. Okay, a little bit. He had a cushion of 6-2, so when he's wheeling up for that forehand winner, I'm thinking, he's feeling pretty good here, because even if he messes this up, he's still got 3 to go. But don't forget that incredible cross-court winner he did on the slide. It was a running stroke sliding forehand cross-court winner that basically Carlos just couldn't get a racket on, and we know how Carlos is. He can get his racket on almost anything, but there were a few balls like that today, and yeah, I mean, the 2 tie breaks is the difference, and that's where Novak elevated himself, as he so often has done in his career, particularly last year, I remember, was often the case. Wasn't their Wimbledon match of 2023 when it was Carlos who sort of elevated his level, so to speak, and Novak dropped. But today, we're also at 4-2. Now, this is an inward feeling, and this is not objective at all. At 4-2 at the change of ends, then of course I think it becomes 5-2. I was starting to think to myself that if I'm Carlos, there might be a little thing at the back of my mind going, it's okay. I've got 4 more of these to come in my career, 3 more of these to come. And I know they can come and go. But
I would say, judging by his reaction, so while you've been talking, obviously I've got Eurosport on. He's just been interviewed by Alex Corretja. They've had to stop the interview twice because he's sobbing.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sure he's devastated.
He wanted this one today.
But ultimately, you could also see, unsurprisingly, the joyous reaction. See you, Gaspar. Thanks very much. Yep. See you sometime soon on the tour. Cheers.
In the press room in Porto.
Yeah. I think there's only one Gaspar I'm familiar with in the tennis community, players or otherwise. So maybe some of the people in the live chat are also familiar with him or follow him on Twitter. So yeah, I mean, you saw the reaction from Novak at the end. It was clear that he's got. I mean, I was speculating just a couple of months ago after that knee operation that probably we might not see him at Wimbledon because he would obviously be desperate for this gold. As it turns out, he was able to play both. And by the way, yes, you might look at some of the movement. I know Damien was a little critical of Novak at times over the last few days, Novak's movement, but it was good enough to win a gold medal at the Olympic Games. So what can you say? And yeah, I don't see him probably being above Yannick or Carlos in terms of favourites for the US Open right now, but let's see what happens over the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. I think that was the best I've particularly by the second set, because Novak only really came under pressure in one service game, and that was the
second set.
In the second set, yeah, that was the 3-4 game that he was serving at. Like, he got taken to deuce by Alcaraz. Interesting, 2 very different tiebreak sets, because the first one was break points galore that neither of them could convert, and the second set, like, neither of them got break point chances, which is interesting. But this is the best. This is like the Novak I expect to see. This is the Novak who steps up against players like Carlos, like Yannick, Rafa and Roger of old, and Andy.
Mm-hmm.
And he just seemed to grow in size and stature, especially by that tiebreak. And I'm not sure how well Alcaraz played that tiebreak, but towards the end, but Djokovic just kept on taking opportunities, three winners to do 3 breaks in that tiebreak.
That forehand winner, I think, from Novak also came from a shot that Carlos had plenty of time on and had a lot of chance to put it a bit closer to the line, take nothing away from Novak. But yeah, I think Carlos, in terms of that wasn't that point.
Yeah,
but it was that point.
Yeah, but I think you're like a little,
He was very harsh on himself.
You're very harsh on Novak sometimes. I think.
No, I think it was. I've already praised Novak. Say what an excellent forehand. Damien, if you want to come on the stream, you're welcome. But you said you didn't feel up to it because he didn't have the tennis acumen to deliver that, as I am in my words that I'm stuttering on right now. But yeah, I mean, listen, he could have and should have gone close to the line. He knew it. He was gutted to lose that point. I saw the Spanish expletives coming out of his mouth. And as you've just seen, Nick, you've seen obviously how emotional he's on court. But this is not me. I've already said how amazing that forehand cross-court winner was from a guy who's in his late 30s, who's just had knee surgery 5 weeks ago, has been to a final at Wimbledon, and then, of course, may having that unbelievable run now. I don't expect to see Novak on a tennis court until Cincinnati at the earliest. I mean, there's probably not much really that he can do, because I think I'm sure he was never on the Canada list, and if he was, he's not
in the draw. He's not in the draw.
Yeah, I know he's not going to Canada. I mean, it's pretty much getting underway as we speak. But yeah, I expect to see him in Cincinnati unless he has a relapse with the knee. And even there, he can just go in with a smile on his face, knowing he's won every Masters twice. And I think if he wins Monte Carlo, it'll be everyone 3 times. He can relax. He can win that title. He can go out second round, third round, or whatever, and go into the US Open as third favorite. And that's just fine. Everything the rest of his tennis career now is fine. I would be amazed to see him at another Olympic Games, but yeah, maybe in doubles. Maybe he'll come back as a 40-plus-year-old doubles guy, and yeah, that could work. But yeah, taking no credit away from him. Of course, he's as I think I saw Mario tweet recently or just a few moments ago saying Novak Djokovic has completed tennis.
Yeah, I think I said that in commentary as well.
That's Mario probably stole it from you. Well, we'll get Mario later.
So tell him he owes me royalties. Yeah, I don't think it's an original take, let's be honest. But yeah, I agree with you. And I think this is the best I've seen from Novak since Cincinnati last year.
Or even the ATP finals, he was insane. In the final, especially.
Yeah, I think he was helped a little bit by Yannick not being quite there on the day.
Carlos Alcaraz's doctor has taken to Twitter to tweet 2 minutes ago, by the way, this is despite the match, the photo being pre-match, just to basically congratulate Novak, obviously, on getting the gold medal, and also Carlos on his silver medal. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. But this is a beautiful sport, is what he is tweeting. Dr. Lopez Martinez. Sorry that he's the first tweet I brought up just because he was the one at the top of my list, as it turned out, on Twitter.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's, I mean, look, let's face it, Alcaraz's doctor is someone who can go out and say some encouraging words. And look, this won't be Carlos's last chance to win it. You would imagine he's going to be a contender in LA. I would imagine conditions are going to be similar to Indian Wells. And kind of, if you think about sort of the West Coast hard courts being traditionally sort of fairly sort of slower, higher bouncing court.
Yeah, I still think Cincinnati's quite a bit far. I think it's a bit faster than the
no, West Coast courts. So Indian Wells, San Diego, Cincinnati's east side.
Yeah, yes. So what tournament are you talking about?
I'm talking about LA in 4 years' time.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Of course, yeah. But yeah. So yeah, if that is like that, then of course that would suit Carlos down to the ground. Yeah, but long way to go between now and then. 4 years between now and then. But yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah. Matt Roberts here is quite funny. He's never won Newport. So there's still something else to complete.
Well, look,
and he's not won the Porto Challenger either.
How many titles does Novak have now? Is it 109 that's Connor's record?
Yes, 109 Connors. I'm not sure how many Novak has. Does the gold medal count as a title, by the way?
I think it
Yeah,
will.
it
Yeah.
does.
99 is it now?
Yeah, 1999.
I would have to check, but I think so.
Okay, so it might be 99 for Novak. I thought it might be
99.
over
So he's
100.
got he's 10 away from Connors' record then. It's doable if he stays healthy. He might have to vulture some tournaments.
Just keep coming to Estoril and some of those, yeah.
Go to Belgrade go to Belgrade. Hope they host some two tournaments a year like they did in 2021. And that should help him out there. But yeah, I mean, look, I think Jimmy Connors vultured a lot of tournaments, which is why he has the record.
Okay, yeah. But anyway, I think it's very doable. It's unusual that he obviously has only won one title this year, albeit that being Olympic gold. But yeah, I mean, I can easily see him picking up another title or two between now and the end of the year, and then that 109 will also be in his sights. But whatever happens now, whether he doesn't win it, if he never picks up a racket again, if he loses every match for the rest of his career, it's his career is complete. You know, he's won all of the Grand Slams at least 3 times. That's one more than his nearest challenger in terms of, you know, Rafa obviously having done it twice around, but he's gone 3 times around. He's doing it across all surfaces. He's won the gold on clay. Does that also just add another little percent to his prowess? You know, he's probably
Who would have known that Novak Djokovic would have had to wait for Olympic gold to come round on clay after being on hard courts pretty much every other one he's had in his career, other than grass.
Yeah, right. Just a comment here from Djokovic on Eurosport, where he said, "Incredible battle, incredible fight. I honestly, when the last shot went past him, I guess meaning Carlos, it was the only moment I thought I could win the match. He keeps on coming back and asking me to play my best tennis. It was fair to finish both sets in a tiebreak, and of course, he finished that match with a forehand winner down the line."
Yeah, he did.
By the way, what was it like to commentate on? I mean, obviously we were dipping in and out, and I think it was almost a marathon first set, in particular for you too, Nick, wasn't it?
A little exhausting, to be honest. But I was worried.
I don't know how the weather is. I don't know how the weather is in London or in the UK. Sorry, today.
It's cloudy.
Okay.
Cloudy and warm. But not as warm as other times. But yeah, it's I think that match was it was fun. It was up there with some of the best quality tennis I've ever commentated on, because I wasn't really having to bring up many mistakes, or the mistakes didn't seem silly. They were sort of natural to come in kind of the pressure of the moment. The first set was just insane drama all the way through, and I was kind of getting to the point where it was like, if this is going to how it's be for 3 sets, I may not have a voice by the end of the day. But it was incredible to watch these two really kind of duke it out. I think it was interesting that Djokovic figured out that he just needed to pin Alcaraz in his backhand corner, and that seemed to work 90%. Like most points with him was him doing that when he got the ascendancy in the rally, which was something I picked up on, and ended up being probably, I don't know whether, because I don't think of Carlos having a particularly weak backhand, but maybe Djokovic was able to pressurize it a bit more. Maybe he was a bit more scared of forehand. He was definitely looping it more if he was hitting to Carlos's forehand. But yeah, that was something I did notice, sort of doing it and sort of picking up on the kind of rallies. But yeah, the forehand to forehand rallies were incredible to watch as well.
This is, I guess, a comment from Carlos. It's not input in speech marks, but all I'll tell you is that it says "I am very," and the third word translated into English is a bad word, if you like. But so I'm extremely messed up, if you like. But if I could lose with someone in this way, with this fight, why not be against the best player of all time? Is what Carlos has said in his words to Alex Goretzka courtside as well. But as you can see, he's had better days at the office. Let's say that.
He has, but I don't think by much. Like, this will go down as one of the losses that, is understandable. A bit like the Cincinnati loss last year. I don't think he's going to have too much shame in this loss. He didn't. There were
Not
very
at
few things,
all, but he was
do.
gutted after that Cincinnati match, more than I even expected him to be.
Yeah, he was better than. Yeah, he was gutted, but I don't think he should be berating himself for a poor performance. He
No.
should be more disappointed himself after that ATP finals loss he had last year against Djokovic. If you're looking at Djokovic,
maybe, but I don't think those conditions really suit him. Not yet, anyway. Indoor hard, but no. You and I will not be berating him for that Cincinnati loss, or even today. I mean, it's just coming up against Novak Djokovic, and occasionally you're going to come up short. Novak, of course, now has the 4-3 lead in the head-to-head. Maybe Novak can avoid that fight for the rest of his career somehow and maintain that advantage. Because of course it was 3-3 going into this with Carlos. And another thing that Novak would have had to have overcome is some demons from that Wimbledon final where he was just outclassed from start to finish. I think Carlos broke in the first service game of Novak's in that match, and it never really looked maybe in doubt. Okay, you could talk about the championship points that came and went, but he soon knuckled down and realized who was the significantly better player on the day. And I know this is different surface and it's a few weeks later and 3 sets instead of 5, but we all remember about Roger, of course, in 2008 saying that he carried into the Wimbledon final a bit of a hangover from Paris when he was obviously drummed out of the French capital, I think to the tune of just winning 4 games. And he said for the first 2 sets, he was still sort of had that in his mind. So that could have been very easy for Novak to take the court today, despite all of the trophies he has in his cabinet, feeling a little bit inferior to Carlos, given what happened at SW19 just a few weeks ago.
But this is where he did such a good job of bouncing back, because he had different tactics. He wasn't rushing. He wasn't trying to finish points super quick at this tournament. In this match compared to the Wimbledon one, he was willing to be a bit more patient. He also, and maybe that was due to the fact it was on clay rather than grass, and it's sort of it's more difficult to do that. Although we did see some serve volley on display from both guys. The other thing to bear in mind is, of course, the knee's in a better place. Yes, it's still in that brace, but he was definitely moving better. It was picked up on. He doesn't seem to be bothered by it, and that was critical as well. And I do think that the fact it was on clay did help, because I think although Carlos is an excellent clay court player, it doesn't let him hit through Novak like he could do on grass or other surfaces. And that ended up being a factor as well. So I think that helped him get a little bit more into rallies and make it a bit more neutral. So, but that credit to Djokovic, he came out confident, knowing he could move this time, and that he had a different plan of action against Carlos, which ultimately ended up working.
Indeed. Look at this little. I mean,
oh,
what better way to celebrate if Novak Djokovic is your favorite player, or maybe even August Holmgren is your favorite player, who's obviously won a challenger here in Porto this week. Why not celebrate and enjoy a nice warm cup of tea, or warm something else if you wish to, by getting yourself a Talking Tennis mug. Perhaps it's a little chilly where you are and you can get yourself a sweater or a hoodie. Or if you want to make some notes about just how many titles Novak Djokovic has, you can, of course, pick up a wonderful little notebook there. I shall probably put that link in the... by the way, has there ever been an more inappropriate time to plug merchandise than during Novak Djokovic's parade?
I can't think of less appropriate times.
Oh, okay, well, fine. I'm going with that. Let's put Novak back on the screen now anyway. Obviously celebrating his unbelievable achievement today. And I did see a comment in the chat. I think it's something about one of the post-match comments from Novak, but it was a bit ambiguous, Ozan, what you were saying. Novak just said courtside that he struggles with himself, whether he's done enough in tennis now. But are we looking at that in a positive way, as in like, I still think I've got more to do and more to give? Or is Ozan, because obviously I'm guessing you saw the interview, is he kind of saying, I don't know what else to do in tennis? Is it sort of the former or the latter? Someone can maybe
I would
let us know.
interpret that as the former, to be honest. I think this is a sign that he's not done, that he's... And like, let's face it, because we're talking about, okay, is Djokovic's ambition to win everything. And yes, it is, but also his ambition is still to prove that he can play with the best of the world, and win against Alcaraz, Sinner, Medvedev, just about in that category, but definitely Alcaraz and Sinner. And like today, he just done that. I think he will stop when he realizes that he can't beat those two anymore.
Yeah.
Or whoever comes after
Yeah.
them. That's when he stops. And in the meantime, he's just going to get as many trophies as he can.
And as you say, as you interpreted there, I think you are right. That seems like he just wants to give a bit more. And for as you said, for why, if it's nip and tuck between him, Yannick, and Carlos, and they've exchanged wins and losses, feels like fairly equal measure over the last 12 months. I know it's 4-3, the head-to-head, of course, with Carlos, and I'm guessing their first encounter was in Madrid. I could be wrong.
Madrid 22, yeah.
Yeah, so in the last 24 months, he has a record of 4-3 over Carlos, and I'm sure it's probably quite similar with Yannick over that 24-month period. Of course,
because Yannick's made up some ground in that rivalry thanks to
he will have
finals, Davis Cup,
yeah,
Australia
Davis Cup, yeah, right. But it's still very, very close. I mean, the Davis Cup, he had match points. I'm sure that Novak, although I don't think Serbia, I think Serbia can't make the finals in Malaga, if I'm right in thinking. But I'm sure he's won the Davis Cup, so it's like it's missing. I have just posted, Jane, the link in the live chat, and it is here, Jane. I think that should work. Let me know if it doesn't, and I'll see if I can find another link for you, but otherwise maybe just Google it and stuff like that. But yeah, there we go. Oh, you got it, Jane. Hopefully it works. Yeah. So yeah, I think a bit like I said at the beginning, in a way, I don't really know what else we can say in terms of Novak Djokovic's achievements, either in tennis or today.
Yeah, well, that's a good timing because I think they're just about to show us the Olympic podium.
Okay.
Djokovic about to receive gold, Alcaraz to receive silver, and Lorenzo Musetti to receive bronze. The IOC president, Thomas Bach, is going to be awarding the medals. So that's a high-profile order.
Thank you to Ozan and Jane as well for your contributions, and of course Ghosty, who gave us a nice contribution, or big contribution, I should say, to celebrate our second birthday. And that video is still out there on YouTube. I don't know what value you can get from watching Damien and I get gradually drunk on a video, but maybe you can enjoy that.
Getting gradually drunk to Nick's horror.
Yeah, to Nick's horror, yeah, because you were sort of, you were pulling you were the designated driver, let's say that.
I usually am.
Yeah. But the podium is happening, so I can imagine we'll be seeing plenty of emotion. Of course, Musetti gaining the bronze yesterday, Italy's first medal in tennis in 100 years, I think. I saw probably the last time that the Olympics had tennis before it had that hiatus. Can you have a 60 or 70 year hiatus? I don't know. A 64-year hiatus.
Cryogenic sleep at that point.
Yeah. I think you're right. Before, of course, returning in Seoul, I heard you as well listing off the champions since the gold medalists in the men's, at least singles, since 1988, and of course now Novak Djokovic's name has been added to that list. Oh, but by the way, Damien and I are about to go off and play tennis, so that's the main match that everybody wants to tune in for, of course.
I'm glad this finished in time. This hasn't caused a delay in the schedule.
Yeah, Damien was getting tetchy. Yeah, I said, look, I'm gonna stay here. I mean, if we take to the court half an hour late, we take to the court half an hour late, but we'll probably be fairly punctual now. I need to get changed into some less clean clothing because I've only got like one clean t-shirt left and I'm wearing it, so I won't be wearing that on the tennis court, much to the delight of the people that will be on my plane. Hopefully I'll still be fresh for that, and fresh as a Novak Djokovic. I mean, Novak and I, we're not a million miles apart in terms of our ages. Damien, of course, and Carlos Alcaraz, not a million miles. How old are you, Damien?
4 years older.
4 years older, and what's Novak? 38, 37?
37.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a similar generational gap. In fact, it's very similar, I would imagine, in terms of our ages. So we'll see if the Novak age old boy can pull off some of the magic that we saw from the real Novak.
Carlos 2.0.
Yeah, Novak Carlos 2.0. Although I see more Damien being more like sort of Sarah Sariba's Tormo in his style of game than than Carlos
They saw me
Alcaraz.
playing the video.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
put on, so
Right.
Yeah.
Djokovic has got his gold medal. He's got his gold medal
Okay.
now. He's
Let's-
kissing it. He's receiving the box. I don't know what the box is that they get. I don't know if it's for the medal or something.
Oh,
I
I've
don't-
seen that. Is that thin sort of thing that
Yeah.
they've been holding? Yeah, I don't know what it is either. I've seen that. I saw them. I saw Igor. I saw them all having it. In fact, I saw Igor with it. I thought, oh, Igor got something, and then I saw all the other people have it
all of
too.
them are getting it.
I don't know if there's maybe it looks like it could be a poster in there. Looks like a little poster for the wall. Maybe a picture of Damien and I or something like that for them to hang on their wall.
But there you go. So yeah, Djokovic now has his gold medal, and that's an incredible sight to see. And I wasn't sure what was going to happen there. As the flags are raised, obviously you mentioning Italy getting a gold, getting a bronze medal. They are going to be getting a gold or a silver once they've packed everything up and get the women's doubles match
Oh, of
on board.
course. Yeah, of course. So there'll be more glory to come for Italy one way or another. But yeah, I don't yet have a picture of the gold medal hanging around his neck, but I'm sure that'll be on Twitter very, very soon. But we've got some other little images here. This one has been put up, I think, by Holger Rune to congratulate Novak Djokovic and many, many others, obviously, are doing so.
Looks like it's an official ATP Tour thing.
Yeah, I think he's either copied and pasted that or he's retweeted. I'm not sure. But
Yeah,
we've
probably.
got Fans Surundalo as well taking to social media as well to congratulate Djokovic as well.
What a
So
moment.
there we go. Let's see if I can give one more chance to see if I can find a picture of him with the gold medal around his neck, and if not, we'll bring this
they've
to a
got
close.
time. They're still singing the Serbian national anthem.
Oh, but he's got the medal around his neck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. As I can see, a nice little ITF makeup for Carlos Alcaraz's silver, which maybe by the time he's on the podium right now, as you say, is he looking all right, Carlos?
Well, we're only looking at Novak at the minute. I think.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Yeah, Carlos is kind of stoic right now. It's not giving much away. The only one who's smiling on the podium is Novak.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that kind of makes sense. Although I'd have thought Musetti's had it's a decent tournament for him, obviously getting a bronze, and at least you get something, and that's what I was wondering with Carlos. But you do get something for your efforts in terms of getting the silver medal. Of course, you don't really feel necessarily that way when you finish runner-up in a slam, but maybe it might take a few days or even a bit longer for Carlos still to digest that he has at least achieved something. But yeah, I can see him looking.
Novak Djokovic's gold medal is glinting in the sun, by the way, as he's holding it up for the cameras as they're taking like a photo together as the podium.
Okay. Yeah, there's a very disconsolate. It might be those images that you were talking to me about before of Carlos. But we live and learn. Here we go. We've got a picture of the podium via Christopher Clary, at least, of the three players there that we just mentioned on the podium. So I guess on that note, Nick, do you want to close us out?
All right. Well, first of all, thanks for coming on and giving your thoughts on that match, and Damien as well. And I wish you both the best in going forward. I'm not going to play favourites, although I do wish I was watching and maybe giving us some commentary on that one.
For sure, if Damien wins, it won't be very long. Set your watches by it, and you'll be finding out very soon. There'll be social media. He'll join Instagram. He'll join Twitch. He'll join every single thing. There'll be Reddit posts and you name it coming out of his ears. If I win, I'll be quietly satisfied with my work, but I will let my talking stay on the tennis court.
The racket will talk, as a Spaniard
Indeed.
once said a long time ago.
Okay.
All right. Thanks everyone so much for joining as well. It was great having everyone along for the ride for this, what ends up being historic moment in tennis. It was always going to be historic, but this is something special when someone achieves every possible big prize there is. And I'm not entirely sure you can argue that for any other player in history. You could look at over tennis, like big tournaments have come and gone. I don't think anyone's won them all until today. Novak Djokovic is an Olympic gold medalist. And we'll be talking more about it over the next few days, I suppose. So why don't you come and check out some more streams from us in the future? But until then, take care and keep talking tennis.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.